Hello everyone, we're about to start our game today, and today I'm here with Kingcat. Hello.
Hello.
We're playing 4 Asians today. I think we've never had that sort of setup in the tournament just yet. And this game is should be pretty interesting, I hope. Oh, but the spawns are... don't mean it that way, because there's not really that much action usually when the players are on the same side of the mirror, but let's see. I need a few minutes to set this thing up, and you can tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so in the middle of the map, we kind of have contact between two Asians. They are spawning one tower away from the mirror axis, and yeah, both players are making a tower tour in that direction. We can see that the starting positions for these Asians are very crowded with trees, so they will very much like that. They also have a big area of swamp available, even though it's very hilly. So we have to see how well players will be able to put stuff there. And yeah, towards the middle to the top side, we have a big area of mountain with a small stripe of land in between it, and that will be very important. And we see the gray player, which is Generalen Duschnussel already pioneering into that direction, and getting a tower into that middle grass will be very important because it denies a lot of mountain from the enemy. So I can see that a focal point in the early game.
On the other hand, Matty isn't really going there at all just yet. I don't even know if he knows it's there, because he's sending all of his soldiers down in order to capture that nice land over there. It actually seems to be relatively flat. But even if Generalen places that tower in the middle, it's not going to be the end of the world, but definitely quite a bit of an advantage for him.
Yeah, it's basically a tower which guarantees you a late game win if mountain becomes scarce at all, which doesn't have to be the case, but if we look around, then yeah, we can say that there's not too much mountain, as all this mountain has to be shared by both the players. So it can be important, but of course there's a lot of time until you get limited on mines and you run out of options.
And he actually decided against it. He's just building regular towers north. So we have to build this one and then another one in order to capture that middle stripe, he said. I'm looking at the outer positions right now. I think they're quite hilly. However, there seem to be abandoned with trees and stone as well too. I mean, Asians, although they build mostly with wood, they need stone in order to turn them into iron bars later on. So that's nice to have. And the swamp... Oh, I thought the only swamp that Ethan has is the one on the right hand side, above the mountain, but that's not true. There's one on the bottom, and I think it's better to go for that one first.
Yeah, so the outer positions kind of look a little bit harder, like setting up the wood in between all the stones is probably not that easy. And yeah, finding good spaces for your bigger buildings, like farms and so on, could be a little bit tough on that position.
Yeah, on the other hand, the spawn in the middle is a little bit better, I think, a bit faster, definitely. Although there isn't water close by. Oh no, there is a few towers away, so it should be fine. Just about, because it's actually you have to go towards the water, because you have your very good swamp over there, so it's nicely positioned.
Is that usual that water is so far away? Because I thought after the reworking of the map generation, water is always kind of close.
Yeah, it's usually very, very close, but I mean, this isn't too far, I would say.
Yeah.
If that lake wasn't there, like the triangle lake, then it would be far, but it makes it a little bit better.
So we see Generalen pioneering in the middle now, also sending a lot of soldiers there to protect his pioneers. So he's going for that. And what is Matti doing? I think, yeah, he's just building up his wood production. Looks like a normal game for him.
And he's building the tower towards the middle, and he will capture this smaller mountain in the middle, so good for him.
Yep.
Even if he loses this tribe in the middle, he will have some advantage over Generalen, at least at the beginning, in terms of mountain. But I would say there is quite a bit of mountain, because the outer guys, they have the mountain on the on the outer part of the map as well, and it's quite sizable too. This is tactical pause by Mati. I think they spoke that they want to do it once they reveal like most of the map. I think it's smart. You can talk strategies.
Is that a thing? Is that allowed? Is that a thing? Like,
yeah, I mean, some teams do it. Although I think one did it in the past. There was rules in ZWQ.
oh boy, that wouldn't happen in my tournament. But yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like when you reveal the map, you can sort of talk it through without worrying about, messing up a building or so.
Yeah, but I think it's also part of the game to do this while playing, and if you're able to play well while also gearing up to make good plans, then yeah, you should be rewarded for that. But yeah, maybe some other issues, I don't know.
You can see Zena. I mean, I can't move the map, although that there is a way you can move the map while it's paused, because if you hold the right, I'm not sure if it's a bug or a feature. If you hold the right click once somebody pauses the game, you can still move it around. Like it remains clicked in, so you can move it. I can see though Zena is already searching the mountain. He's playing this style where he makes early geologists and goes for the mountain very early on, and I like it because I often find myself like lacking. I don't know like where to go, like which mountain to take, and I'm usually like my mines are quite late because of it. But if you do it, I think you need like at least 2 small residences early on.
It's also quite a difference to his first round game, where he made his geologists very late and also got a little bit criticized for that. So Zena's making up for that and changing his approach.
Like he wants to prove Nogger that he can adapt and he's not as bad as Nogger made it seem in the video.
Yeah, we should probably make a list and tick off all the points which Nogger criticized and look if Zena fixed them in this game.
Oh boy, I don't think it would have ended the stream this today.
Yeah, might also be a long list.
Yeah, but this setup, the game can drag along, I would say. Again, to the quote-unquote late game, which I think begins like after an hour and 10 minutes. And they resume the game. Even though it's Asians, and I think you can make nice rushes with them. Like with such positions, and especially considering there is a mountain in between them. Not across the whole map, but at least partially in the north. It's just a bit easier to defend. Also, there's possibility of weapons exchange. I always like this strat. I know some people don't, but I do. And when you're in positions like this, you can sort of quite easily do it. Because the other guy is, sort of safe. Especially if he builds a tower close by Mati's border or something. Or Mati's barracks.
Yeah, he could have a tower like right in this valley above Mati's mountain. And yeah, it's very, very close then.
And he is sort of protected by the mountain a little bit as well.
So yeah,
and maybe that's Mati is not going for the middle valley, not building tower there. Maybe he just won't need the mountain that long.
Yeah, I mean it's always a big decision. Like you see that on the south you have like very good land to build. In the middle you have possible mountain to access, but you can't have it all. Like you have to make decisions, which what you value higher. If you try to get everything, then you are very likely to be overextended. Sometimes immediately, sometimes later when the first level 2 soldiers are out on the map. And yeah, if he now makes sure that he gets his fair share of land in the south, then it's a completely fine decision.
That's true. I'm also thinking about, we mentioned that the water is quite far, so it's also going to be quite difficult to build early fishes. And if you want to be aggressive, I feel like you need a lot of fish early on. You can store it too in order to, sustain your production for a little bit longer. Now, as you said, it's a bit difficult to build the forest for the outer guys, and then you can see the Zenna situation. I think he's not really building that much,
Yeah.
He plays the woodcutters on the right hand side. I'm not sure if he tried to go left, but he thought that tower was just too late, and that's why he placed them on the right hand side. Or I'm not sure, he would just cut down the forest on the left completely, or maybe add like another forester. I'm not really sure what's the magic number is, but I think going into 8 woodcutters as Asians, I'm not sure if I would do it. I think 7 is just fine to have your 3 sawmills running at all time.
And how times have changed. But yeah, he definitely should build forester for the woodcutters on the left side. Or do you think he just wants to cut everything down to get more access to all those stones? So he's just playing with 2 woodcutters cutting down regular trees.
Although I would build them like I would build one here and then another one deeper into the forest, because they will have a long way of going there. But I think the land underneath the trees and the stone is quite even. So if you were to cut the trees and the stones, which will take a lot of time, but if he does it, then he has access to nice land over there, which, I mean, around his position is not that much. There's some in the north, but it's quite far.
Yeah.
Generalen built a rice farm, is finishing it. I'm not really sure how good that is. I know there's a bit of swamp behind this forester, but other than that, I'm not really sure if that farm will work 100%, because he built an unfortunate woodcutter and he sort of blocked one of his swamps in the middle. I'm not sure how efficient that will be. Mati's rice farm is definitely way better. Although it's a bit farther, but I think it's just better because the swamp is bigger.
Yeah. So we see Mati shuffling an iron smelter already. But yeah, in these times you can never be sure if people actually build it or not. But is it the standard build to go rice farm and then weaponsmith already? Or would you like to sneak in a farm as well?
I would say it's risky on a 2v2, although I would sneak in a stonecutter first. He's adding a 3, but I'm not sure if he forgot about them or he has one shuffled in the north, but I think he's quite unhappy with his mountain so far because he discovered sulfur and gold. There's a patch of coal and looks like to be decent iron up north. Let's see. Yeah, farm is risky, I would say, especially if you are the one in the middle.
Yeah. So we see a lot of spy kills. Like we saw one spy getting killed in Zenna's land. Now there was also a spy getting killed in Mati's land. So people are actively scouting. But so far, like every player is literally playing the same. They all build up their wood. They place their rice farm, and yeah, let's see if they start to deviate from this point on.
Senna only now adding a 3rd sawmill. I'm not sure if he forgot about it or that's something he meant to do, because he already has a rice farm and a medium residence building, and the sawmill is going to be quite late. And we can see he's he's not overflowing with logs, but he has quite a bit of them. I think three sawmills would work just fine.
Yeah. One thing I'm spotting now for a possible deviation between the players is that Generalen is adding a 2nd rice farm already. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he is known to be quite greedy early on. And I wouldn't be surprised if he adds a farm, although he's shoveling the ironsmith and weaponsmith, perhaps because he saw what Matty's doing. Do you know if he's spying him actively? There's a spy, but it's been spotted and has to run in the middle, so I'm not really sure if he saw that the smelter is already leveled, Matty. Although he sees that Matty is building a gold mine. So maybe that's why he... Because I think he would love to go into a farm before the weaponsmith.
And it looks like a clear indication of something going down. Or could it just be an accident?
Could be a fake too. Although I don't think so, because already I think he carried a bit of wood to it.
Yeah, Matti seems to be a little bit short on settlers. So yeah, he desperately needs that house he's building at the border towards Generalen now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, one small and one medium one is a bit... it's just not enough if you want to have... How many? 15 geologists and 5 pioneers. So he would need like another 2 small ones in order to support that. Or build the medium one before like anything else.
Mm.
Yeah, but I wonder what they will do about this, about the gold. If it's ever finished, obviously. Because last game we saw when Sir Mars and Maf played an early weaponsmith against Generalen and Senna, they went into a bit of a panic mode, I would say, and it threw them off definitely from their original like usual builds.
Yeah. In the middle we see kind of an engagement. Generalen is denying the geologists from Matti, and the geologists have to go back. And when we look on Generalen's side of the mountain, we can see that there's a hell of an iron mine, or even 2 to get at that place.
Even 3,
and
holy fuck.
yeah, he definitely wants to keep Matti away from that.
Yeah, those mines are magnificent. There's also coal, 2 potentially, but if you build another one on the bottom, then you're possibly blocking yourself from that iron mine. Matti does not have... I think Matti's quite upset that he didn't discover those mines immediately. Because if they're planning something aggressive, then he definitely would have liked to have that as soon as possible.
Yeah, and unfortunately we can see in Matti's land that the lack of settlers led to the fact that his sawmills are empty of logs at the moment, so he's losing out on wood from this point on.
This is something you never want to have happen as Asians.
Yeah, it's like the complete worst case. But yeah, let's have a look at the other players, how the outer positions are building up now. Looking into Zena's land, he's also going for a second rice farm, so it seems to be the thing of Zena and Generalen. And apart from that, he's building up a lot of stonecutters, it looks. Like he's on 3 already, and just now starting with his iron smelter.
Yeah, that's I think that's a standard sort of build. You go for 4 stonecutters and then you start collecting the stone, so that you can turn it into iron quite soon. Nothing too out of the ordinary for Senna. And I mean, he's the safer one, quote unquote, so going for 2 rice farm is okay, I would say. And he also found quite nice mines. Let's see if he goes for the farm. Like when he goes for the farm. For Ethan, Ethan is already finishing his iron smelter. He's doing better with settlers, and he only has 1 rice farm, although, I mean, it's working just fine. It's not the perfect one, but it's okay. And he has the marketplace, and already adding a second weaponsmith, and a distillery as well. And he's already collecting the stones, a bit faster than Zena.
Yeah, second weaponsmith looks like they want to push for a lot of units. But yeah, how important will be the difference between the 1 rice farm compared to the 2 rice farms we see for the other team?
Well, if they attack early, before minute 35, then the second rice farm is completely useless. But if the game goes on longer, then the Zen and Generalen will just have faster level 3. But I don't think it will play it will be important because like Ethan is definitely doing some push with that second weaponsmith being so quick. I'm not sure if they spotted that. Have you seen if they have any spies at Ethan?
No, I'm not really used to use that feature, so
They don't have any currently, but might have died.
Yeah, I remember a unit dying. I think somebody sent a soldier into Ethan's land, so they probably spotted like the iron smelter barracks, maybe first weaponsmith. I think the unit died in that area, but I'm not sure if they saw what Ethan is building on the top side of his land at the moment, which apparently would be the second weaponsmith.
He's a bit capped on land. We can see his shovels are standing, just for a little bit, but sometimes it happens when you're not expanding fast enough. He's adding a small residence and has already large temple shoveled. So if it's a push, I'm thinking about, we should be seeing a third weaponsmith quite soon as well.
Quite possible. We see on the left side of Ethan's land, Senna coming in with another sword and also 3 spies. So in just a moment they will probably get all the information they want to have about Ethan, as the spies and the sword should be able to see everything.
And Ethan's soldiers are, I'm not sure where, at Matty's land, so he will have very difficult time preventing that from being scouted. Let's see, he's not building the weaponsmith just yet. He placed a third one in the bottom right, and the 2 spies are coming in, and I don't think Ethan has any idea they're in his land currently. Because if he was to crush the bottom one, the bottom right weaponsmith, Zenna wouldn't be sure that it's a push of any sort, because, you know, you can just level your weaponsmith, you don't have to build, right? But if he sees the third one on the bottom right, I think he will be very convinced of what's going on.
Yeah. Also, let's have a look on what kind of weapons are getting produced. Like, so far it's 1 sword, but could have been the first sword when you forget to change the
No,
settings.
it's only swords. I'm seeing in the settings. He's making only swords. Okay. And as for Matty, same. Matty is finishing that gold mine, although very slowly, but he is. I guess they want to get the 3 gold bars you need for the spike, I think. At least that's what Photo said. I'm not really sure if it's true. I haven't checked it.
Yeah. From my experience from Zetas4, I can say that everything Fabi ever said is always true. So you can definitely trust him on that.
Okay, nice. Mati managed to build those good mines that Generalen found. Although they're not that great, it seems, like 50%, 60% coal, 40%, 50% coal again, and then the iron in the top right is 90%, which is great. Mati going for the distillery and 2 large temples. This will allow him to have the very quick stone into iron spell, or maybe perhaps he will go for some sort of samurai / coal reinforcement spell. We'll have to see.
And still there's no sign of any farms for basically every player, except Zenna. Zenna is always the first one regarding long play stuff. But the other 3 players don't have that at the moment. Is it a normal thing for Asians at that point? Or is it also possible that they may rely on God's gift to roll the dice and get some bread that way? How does it play out?
No, they should, if they put playing normally, they should build the farm already like Senna does. But they're definitely rushing, Mati and Ethan that is. They're doing some sort of 30-minute push. 35-minute push. And I guess Zana and Generalen, they've discovered that. That's why Generalen is going for the swords. Defensive swords, I presume. It could be offensive too. And he already is going for 3 large temples. Interesting, considering he built 2 rice farms and he's going for 3 temples first. So that's a bit of a waste right there. We can see that the second rice farm will play no They have no impact whatsoever. It only slowed him down, wasted the resources. And as going for the defensive swords, I'm not really sure if I like it or not. I mean, he has quite a long border to defend. Like 4 towers. There are 5, but 1 he can just crush. But Matti can attack into. Matti and Ethan both. And let's see how fast the attack comes. Ethan doesn't have a perfect spot for this sort of play. It was just a bit hilly and uneven. But he managed to store quite a bit of stones. He needs like 10 more and he can turn them into iron. And he's adding second weaponsmith. He crushed the one in the north, interestingly enough, and he's building the one in the south. I guess he thought it was just too far away from the stone. I think that's the right call. The only thing that is concerning for me is that they're not adding the fishes, mostly because for Matti is far away, and for Ethan, I think he just haven't found like a suitable place for it just yet.
I'm also a bit surprised that Ethan seems to have recruited some of his swords as level 1 and already sent them towards Matti. I think I don't know, like maybe they thought they are in danger, as Generalen already has his level 2 swords out, but
yeah, this could be the case, yes, you're right. I thought he did it to get rid of the spies, but yeah, Generalen has 3 large temples already, so he might try to do some sort of push, but I don't think it would work, considering that Ethan recruited some of the level 1s and Matti has all of his starting soldiers and he's recruiting level 2 already.
Yeah, so Matti is adding his first farm now, after he crushed his temples. I think he's about to convert his stones. They are kind of lying under some trees, so can't really be sure if he has the 40 already there.
Okay, and he's not building the gold smelter. He will rely on the gold ore. And he needs to gather quite a bit of it, and he does not have a fisher, as I said. I'm not really sure if that will work for him. I think he would be better off just building the gold smelter. The gold ore is a little bit too inefficient, I would say, especially if you don't have the fisher.
Yeah, he's adding his 4th weaponsmith already, so a lot of production coming in from him. Whereas we see Generalen only being on 1 weaponsmith, he has a 2nd weaponsmith started, like the stones are probably built into that, but he's focusing on other stuff at the moment, and the delta of weapon production can become very insane now. So I can see in like 5 or 10 minutes that Matti will have a lot more units than Generalen would have at his disposal.
Yep. Yeah, they threw him off of his build. He went for the 2 rice farms that they're useless now. And that forced him to add 2 small temples because he thinks he's wasting the rice, and he still hasn't finished his 3rd large temple, so he couldn't crush it. He's only now doing so. Yeah,
it's
so
actually very dangerous.
Yep.
Like the right team has 7 weaponsmiths right at this moment, whereas the left team only has 2. And yeah, defending in your own end can be fine, but eventually the numbers become just so much bigger that you cannot hold anymore.
And especially with the summer.
Very excited.
And we can see Zena has only 1 weaponsmith, and only now, not even adding another one, he goes for 2 distilleries. That's very bold. I'm not really sure if they're realizing how strong and powerful that push is, because it hits like a truck along 32 minute mark, and we can see Matti's building towers towards Generalen. That's no mistake. He counts on Generalen crushing his own towers during the defense, and he wants to have his towers already prepared at the border in order to take his stuff.
Yeah.
This is quite exciting.
Yeah.
I'm obviously
behind that, like as we already said, Matti is building his farms, so it's not completely all in. Like it will be a very strong push, but it will also give them an out to play a longer game if they can't quite manage to finish Generalen off entirely. Let's see if.
Or maybe they think they will kill 1 and then Zena will, remain So they added the farm in order to make sure they don't lose a 1v2 later on.
Yeah. But we can see that Ethan is a little bit more all in. He doesn't have a farm yet, but instead he's adding 2 more weaponsmiths, so he would be on 5 weaponsmiths if those finish. Not sure if he has enough stones for the next stone to iron conversion for all that weaponsmiths to run.
He should be able to gather it relatively quickly, but his mines are very good. That's why I think he's adding so many, but I think it's too many. I think 3 is perfect number, and then you go for a farm and whatnot. I think he's just being overly ambitious, but I mean, let's see. He has a bit of a more difficult position too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
so how important is it that only Matti is going for combat power with his gold ore?
I'm not really sure.
Like
so
Ethan will have 1 spike less in that case.
Yes, yeah. Unless they sort of Matti goes first, then Ethan goes. I'm not really sure how it will go, but Matti should take all the gold. But I'm not sure if he will have the spike anyway, because I think there's not enough gold ore. The mine is okay, but he still has 40%. I think he needs 1 more or 2. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really haven't checked.
Yeah, with a bit of luck, like we talked a few minutes ago about that, maybe somebody has enlightened us, and we will see that in the chat before the actual engagement starts.
What is Zena doing currently? He's building swords as well, recruiting level 1, I believe, right? No, level 2, has already level 2. That's the farm and 2 distilleries. Adding another weaponsmith only now. You have to understand, like, he has 1 weaponsmith, Generalen has 2, but only 1 is working. Whereas Matti has 4 working weaponsmiths currently, and Ethan has 3, also all working. So I would say one of them will die, and I mean, it's obviously going to be Generalen because it looks quite dire, even though they have quite a bit of soldiers prepared already, and I think they will plan to defend north and south and perhaps maybe call soldiers into positions that Matti and Ethan would choose to attack first, because Generalen is rallying everything bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, at this point he cannot fight on, like, defend all of those towers. Like, you'll have to crush ideally all of them and just defend at 1. But I'm not sure if that will be enough if they, unless Ethan and Matti mess up or wait for too long. I would say they should attack in a few minutes.
Yeah. What do you think about fortifying your land? Like, is it would it give you anything if Generalen would start to build some big towers now? For example, the one you already shuffled in the north. Should he add more, or is that just a waste at this point? And you should make pioneers or something else which helps you more.
Yeah, I think that's a waste of resources making the towers. You just make like a shit ton of people and turn them into pioneers. That would be the best course of action. And we can see Ethan moving north. Oh no, and then moving back south. I think they just want to trick them and see how Generalen chooses to defend, but as Asians they can always call reinforcements, so just because the attack goes one way doesn't mean it will end up that way, although they probably want to save the spells for the samurai sword instead of calling reinforcements.
Yeah. So let's have a look. Like, one thing they could think about is where the priests are standing, and we can see that Zena only has 2 priests, from which one is at home converting stones, and there's only 1 priest at the front, which is on the top. If they got information about that, but yeah, just scrap that. They are moving in on the top side.
And also there's a small squadron on the bottom side, and Ethan has the combat power, I believe. They both have 39. Maybe they counted it and it's actually enough for the spike. Matti has the samurai sword ready. Same for Ethan. And Zena will almost has 2. He's sending pioneers as well. Quite a few of them. The bottom attack gets to the tower, but I think it will be defended easily by Generalen soldiers. Oh, Mati messed up. He called this he called reinforcements instead of casting the samurai, so that's a big blunder, I'd say. The attack is not going that way. I'm not really sure like who is winning, but I think green soldiers are dying way more. And the bottom attack has been defended, and the top one looks to be defended as well.
Oh no.
That's a shame. And Zena calls a few more reinforcements, and I don't think the tower at the north will even fall as well. Yeah, that was disastrous.
Holy shit. Yeah, that hurts.
And they crush him.
And
Yeah.
the crush.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened
Wow,
there.
what
I thought they would have such a big advantage, but then I'm not really sure if just Mati messing up the Samurai Soul spell was the issue there, or...
Wow, I'm completely
GG.
overwhelmed. Like, I didn't expect that. Okay, GG.
Okay, that was quick.
Interesting. So yeah, I didn't have a look on mana. Like, from his mistake, did he then not have mana for a crucial samurai left, and that's why it snowballed so hard? Or
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Let me check the spikes. Maybe he had the spike. Let me... Maybe they messed up the gold. So for the sword, you need 39.3 combat power. And it didn't look like they had it. Maybe they had just 39 and not enough for the spike. Maybe you need like 40. And that's what they messed up, because they split the gold. Ethan took a little bit. They both had 39 in the combat power. And I think because their soldiers were dying like crazy. I get that he missed the spell, but Ethan casted it correctly, I think.
Mhm.
So they still, I think they had way more soldiers, like 50 more soldiers. So they should do more damage. So I think the gold spike was just incorrectly calculated, and they did not have an extra one combat power. I mean, one attack damage.
yeah, would be such a shame to go out on such a technicality. But yeah, also maybe a little bit greedy when you say that you attack at like the 30-minute mark or something like that, and you were able to build a gold smelter and safely get the combat power spike for both players with just a few gold bars. And yeah, looks risky to rely on the gold ore only from a mine. I don't know, like if you're unlucky and the mine doesn't get it as much gold ore in time, then suddenly your attack loses its strength. And yeah, maybe there could have been an argument to play it with the gold smelter instead.
Okay. Well, GG's guys. That was an interesting game. That was a nice idea, I think. There was some misplays at the beginning by Mati with lack of settlers and whatnot, and then I think they added a bit too many weaponsmiths, and then the gold ore, and then the spell was the nail to the coffin. That just allowed Zena and Generalen to defend very, very easily. Congratulations to Zena and Generalen. They're moving on, and Mati and Ethan go to the losers bracket, which I think they'll do very well in. Thank you, Kingcat, for casting, and bye-bye.
You're welcome. Goodbye.